just imagine for a moment some liberal and neocons over at Fox News like to bash predicting a coup in America. Picture Sean Hannity interviewing Rosie O'Donnell. And she says she doesn't like the way America is leaning towards the right and it's destroying this great nation. So what America needs is a coup to purge it of this blight. What do you think Sean's reaction would be? With that thought firmly implanted in your mind, witness this.
Let's talk a little bit about this new book of yours that really takes us through a number of decades. Tell us about it.
Well, I just started out in 1960 and follow through the things that are going on around me in the world as well as things that are going on in my own life. And it's much better than relying on your memory because memories tend to fade with time, but the letters remain the same. And so I simply went into the garage and got 4 file cabinets full of letters and went through to find things that were worth preserving.
Hey, Dr. Sowell, it's Alan Combs. Thank you for doing our show tonight. I was reading something you wrote recently in National Review Online where you wrote, when I see the worsening degeneracy in our politicians, our media, our educators, and our intelligentsia, you said, I can't help wondering if the day might yet come when the only thing that can save this country is a military coup. How serious are you about the idea that that's what it might take to save this country?
I'm very serious about whether or not the country can be saved at all in the long run. And especially with Iran moving towards nuclear weapons, with so many signs of degeneracy, the schools, whatnot. Heaven knows I don't want to see a military coup, but I don't want to see the society disintegrate either.
What do you think would lead to a military coup?
Excuse me?
What do you think might be the forces that would lead to a military coup in this country?
I think if the political system becomes ever more irresponsible, and it's already pretty irresponsible, if the educational system becomes more degenerate, if race hustlers polarize the country, and that the schools and the intelligentsia dismantle the values on which it's built. I mean, right now I think we're living a lot off the capital of the past, and that can't continue indefinitely.
Isn't that a little alarmist to say that, you know, with the divisions in this country, a military coup might be the only way that this country can proceed? I mean, we still live in a representative form of government, a lot of bickering back and forth, obviously, but that's healthy in a democracy. I don't see us headed toward a military coup.
Well, I'm happy that you don't.
Then I can make you happy.
And I prefer that you turn out to be right than that I turn out to be right. I probably won't be here to find out one way or the other.
All right. You said you favor, looking at all the presidential candidates, a Giuliani-Gingrich ticket. Do you think that would be the best ticket for the country?
It's a great ticket.
Well, I guess that Sean has answered the question for you once again. But go ahead, sir.
It's a question of we have to make our choice among the alternatives actually available. Yeah. And that's one possibility that looks good. I think Governor Romney would make a good president, but whether he would make a good presidential candidate is another question.
Unfortunately, you have to be a good candidate and a good president. That doesn't always comport. You also said you haven't seen Republican outrage since Clarence Thomas in 1991. There's no outrage? And is that a negative that there hasn't been that level of outrage?
Well, I think when you have one party that is expressing outrage almost daily, and another party which is trying to be polite and low-key and so on, after a certain amount of time, that begins to take its effect. There's no sense that I get of people ready to spring to the defense of the values that they represent. And when that happens, I'm thinking, for example, if we look at the Whigs, why did the Whig Party disappear? Because they were too wishy-washy. They didn't really stand for anything after a while. I mean, they were just anti-slavery enough to alienate the South, but not anti-slavery enough to get the votes of the North. And so while I think you have to have some moderation, I think also that, moderation is fine if it's not carried to extremes.
A Man of Letters is the new book by our good friend Dr. Sowell. Dr. Sowell, we always appreciate you taking time to be with us, and all the best with the new book. And as always, we appreciate you being with us.
Yes, thank you, Generalissimo Thomas Sowell, for your visit. And please don't forget who your friends are after the revolution. Sean continues to suck Dr. Sowell's, toes, while feckless pseudo-liberal Alan Combs possesses not one grain of outrage. Unfucking believable.